grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We about to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brandon T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the show, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was one of my favorite things to do, to hang out with friends, talk shit, talk shop, get hammered, and reminisce about crazy stories. I'm sober now, but that is still one of my favorite things to do. Most weeks I will be joined by a guest. This week is no different. Joined by hilarious comedian from Florida, soon to be New York City, Andrew Ferrara.
Hello, everybody. How's
There
it
we
going?
go.
What's up? What's
There
up?
it is.
Hey, bud.
What's up, man?
Oh, so many things.
So many
Way too
things.
many
Let's get
things.
into it. So, for those of you listening, plug everything up front. Social media, any show. This will come out a week from Friday. So, any shows you got coming up, anything you got going on.
All right. So, my Instagram is where I really generally use, it's going to be at Funny AF Comedian. And then
I get it. Initials.
yeah, my
Funny as fuck.
initials.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I have to thank my mama on that. It was just like, thank you, mama. But also, you could go to my website, www.funnyafcomedy.com, and it'll have all my upcoming shows
Awesome.
on there, and also a video if you want to take a look.
Take a look.
Yeah, and there's also a little biography if you want to hear some extra if we don't get into it today.
Okay. Well, we're going to try to get into it. We're going to touch on a lot of stuff. So, you from Northwest Florida, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
The Pensacola area?
The Pensacola area. I'm in Gulf Breeze, which is the UFO capital of the world.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh, wow.
It is. There are more UFO sightings in Gulf Breeze than anywhere else.
There you go. So
We have an X-File episode about us.
Really?
And we're on Ancient Aliens several times.
There you go. So you might, yeah. All right. Gulf Breeze, Florida. Shout out.
Oh, also, we have a lot of the WWE wrestlers in the area.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Total Divas shows up every once in a while to film. We got the Usos chilling out there getting DUIs, doing their thing. Naomi crying. But yeah, it's been good.
So, what? Were you raised there your whole life?
All right, so I was born in Brooklyn.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And then when I was like 8.5, 9, I think it was like 8.5 would be the right answer. We moved to Gulf Breeze, Florida. For what reason, no one fucking knows. And yeah, so
Okay. So you were there, and then what
last time.
What propelled you to do stand up? What got you into that? Were you always a fan of stand up, or were you always just funny, or how'd that happen?
So I did really enjoy stand up. Sorry, the dog.
I know.
It's irresistible.
She is a mainstay on the show. Everyone's
she's
always
so great.
because she always brings her ball over for everyone to play with.
Well, I do love that ball. And it looks like it's one that holds treats. Yes.
Yeah.
See, I wish they
Kong
made
ball.
treats like that for us, where it's a toy where we gotta get into
Yeah.
it, But
It would make exercising a lot more fun.
yeah, maybe one day. Anyway, where were we?
Comedy. You getting into comedy.
Oh yeah. So the first time I did comedy, I loved Last Comic Standing when I was little. So I didn't really get into comedy past Saturday Night Live because I was Saturday Night Live when I was young. And
Okay.
then Last Comic Standing came on, and I was like, this is cool. And then when I was 18, when I went to UWF, the University of West Florida, go Argos.
There you
go. They had an open mic night at Wackadoos, which is the best place ever. Wackadoos, if you don't know, they have chicken wings.
Is it like a bar, or is it a?
It's like a bar and restaurant,
Okay,
and the Wackadoo is their mascot.
got it.
And the Wackadoo is a platypus with his tongue sticking out, and he's cross-eyed, and he's wearing one of those hats that have a propeller on the top.
Okay.
And he's holding a chicken leg in one hand and a little flag in another hand that says college on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
So Wackadoos
Wackadoo.
was doing an open mic, and you're like, I'm going to try this out?
Yeah, and so I was super excited. I wrote stuff down. I was sitting with my brother because he went with me to UWF too. And I was just like, okay, we got to get the best set ever. This is my premiere.
Yeah.
So we go to UWF, Wackadoos, sit down. I get called up first because I got there super early because I was so excited to do it.
Yeah.
So I do my bit. I noticed my friends that were there were loving it. And then one other table was finding it funny, and everybody else was giving me a look of like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah.
And it was like a music open mic only usually.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're just now learning about this right now.
Yeah.
You just kept saying open mic. I just assumed it was like a comedy open mic.
That's what I thought. And man, did I think it during it too, because I was first. I was like,
so you had no idea.
So yeah.
So,
and I did eventually go back to that open mic as the lead singer of a band called the Kosher Cowboys, and we won $100.
there you go. There you go. Redemption.
That's right.
Fuck yeah. So, did you just, once you did it there, were you like, oh, I really want to do this? Or was that like,
Once
that sounds
I did
traumatizing?
it there, I was like, well, that's not happening ever again.
Yeah.
And did not do it for years and years. So it was 10 years later.
Okay.
that I did
Oh,
it.
wow. So you really took some time off.
Yeah. Or, well, maybe less than 10. Let me see. It would have been,
A few years later.
yeah, at least 8. Yeah, I'll go with 8.
Okay.
But, yeah, so then I had been talking to Olivia Cersei again because I knew her when I was a little kid and in high school as well. And she had started doing comedy, and she told me I had to come see her show and I should sign up too. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But she convinced me to. And I didn't write anything. I just kind of went with whatever. And there was like nobody there. There was like 4 or 5 people maybe.
Okay.
But I had so much fun because I don't know, it was just silly. And then I started doing it every single week. And never
Just
stopped.
just got into it.
Now it's almost 7 years, and
Now you're
loving it.
moving to New York.
Now I'm moving to New York,
All right.
New York City.
Which is a lot of fun. Everyone on this who listens knows my trials and tribulations because I talk about it constantly. But it's definitely a different animal. It's cool though because the one awesome thing about New York, and obviously you already know this, but you just never know who you're going to run into. Like, and you can just have these crazy, like you're hanging out one day at a club, like just having a burger, watching a show, and all of a sudden, you know, some of the most famous comedians in the world just do a drop in, and you're like, oh, this is weird. Like, I just came to see like a few comics that, you know, I know, like do a show and I wanted to support, and now all of a sudden I'm afterwards, like I'm hanging out talking to Bill Burr or something, and it's like, that's bananas.
Yeah, that is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and so that's probably the most fun thing that I found in the 2 months that I've only been here for 2 months, but in the
Is
2 months I've been
Roseanne
here-
around?
I haven't seen her.
Is she in New York? Do we know where Roseanne is?
No,
Hey,
she's in Hawaii. She has a nut farm in Hawaii.
is she still in Hawaii? She still got those macadamia
I
nuts?
think.
Oh, Roseanne's Nuts was a great reality TV show.
I never
Ooh.
saw.
Oh my gosh, she's wild. And man, she should have won president, right? I mean, let's forgive her for what she said on Twitter. It's been long enough. Some people
God, yeah, that was an insane thing.
I love it. She was on Ambien. I was like, girl, I jerked off a dude on Ambien in the middle of
You were on
dorm
Ambien, or
room.
he was on Ambien?
We were both on Ambien. We were
Okay.
all on Ambien, but like 2 people who were like, let's make sure that all these people on Ambien don't die. This was freshman year of college.
I was gonna say. So let's get into it. You so you don't drink anymore.
No, I do not.
You were telling me before we started recording you're at about 2.5 years.
Indeed.
Which is awesome. I remember when I first started this show about a year ago, you had reached out, and we've kind of gone back and forth between times that you were in Jax, and then I was, moved or was planning on moving, then moved, and so we just never were able to link up. So now that we're both in New York, we can finally get this episode in, which I'm excited about.
We're so ready for it.
But you, when did you start drinking? Because what I've learned is anybody who stops drinking and keeps track of how long it's been since they had their last drink normally quit drinking for a reason. So I want to get into some of the stories that happened before you decided that this was too much. Because you said you had tried to stop drinking before and it just didn't take.
Yes.
So what happened with the Ambien thing? Was that just like something you guys would do, or
we did a lot of things. That's one of many things. So we would.
This is
drink.
In college.
Oh yeah, we would drink and take Ambien and stay up. And
now, do you hallucinate and stuff when you take Ambien?
Yeah, you have. It's a interesting type of hallucination. Like when you walk, it looks like the ground's puddles. And like everything's very fluid and dream feeling. However, there's no like straight up hallucination.
I got you.
Oh, we got some
action.
Action.
That's what happens when you live on a busy street, baby.
New York City,
Midtown Manhattan.
But yeah, so that was strange, and we did that several times.
Don't gloss over the jerking off the guy. What happened there?
Oh, okay. Well, there was this guy that I knew who.
Do you get like a whiskey dick like you do when you drink too much when you take Ambien? Or do
all
all your parts work?
I guess not. Everything was working.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, you might be asleep, but the rest is awake. I mean, some of my best boners were morning wood when I woke up from a dream, so.
Yeah. Andrew is the Queen Daddy, so.
Yes, indeed. Queen Daddy, LLC.
You should totally make that LLC.
Copywritten.
So talk to me more about the adventures that you had in college. Was it just like, because Ambien's such a weird prescription pill to take.
Yeah.
Because I've drank and like done Xanax, I've done Coke, I've done heroin.
I've done all those. I haven't done heroin. Never did heroin, but I've done basically everything else. Yeah.
I mean, painkillers are painkillers.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess I've done methadone, so I did do heroin.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Heroin just sounds cooler when you're talking about it later in life.
Yeah, I guess I can do that eventually. I'm not ready to say I did heroin. I'll say I did methadone because people don't know.
There's like oh, okay, whatever.
But when I'm okay with me saying I did heroin, I'll let everyone else know I did heroin. But until then,
so
it was methadone.
How did this happen? Were you drinking a lot in high school, or did you get to college and say fuck it, I want to have fun? Like, how did that whole thing happen?
I started drinking freshman year of high school, like sleepovers at my friend's house, like after like band practice and stuff. We'd go and chill and play video games and get drunk and watch porn.
Yeah,
like poolside orgy. I remember that one specifically.
Were you out at this point, or were you out at this point?
No, freshman year I was not. It wasn't until the next year that I was out.
Okay,
so they put a poolside. I remember we'd always it was such an inside thing. We'd always joke, be like, "Oh yeah, we're going poolside." It's so ridiculous. It's just me and 3 straight dudes watching porn together. We didn't drink.
Don't mind my writing. I'm just writing down things that I'm either going to clip for the clip or the title.
Writing down my life.
Poolside. Meet You Poolside might be the title of this episode.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. Oh, and but on top of that, after we would watch the Cube, the movie The Cube, and then Cube 2, and then Hypercube, and all the cubes. We were really into poolside orgies and Cube.
There you go.
Yeah, that was our big thing.
So you guys would just get drunk and do that in high school?
Oh, yeah.
So so you said you ended up, you came out the next year.
Yeah.
Were you still with the was that still the gang? Did you guys still watch porn and cube and get drunk, or did things change when you did that?
When I came out, things didn't necessarily change, but people, like, one of them went to another school, another one.
Wow, he wanted to get away from you that no.
I know, I know, and he was so cute. No, we're actually still friends today. Actually, two of them I'm really good friends with still. Another one I was really good friends with, but I just haven't talked to him in the past couple of years. We haven't really, I don't know. So, no, it was never weird between us, but because of
That's awesome.
the trajectory, they quit band too, and band kids always are like, we're
Band kids
24/7 together, you
Yeah.
know, because we have to be for band. Same thing with theater. So
were you involved? I know you mentioned band. Were you involved in theater as well in high school?
yeah, I did 2 musicals.
Okay.
And I was Cinderella's Prince in Into the Woods.
There you go.
I got to kiss both Cinderella and Snow White.
Fuck yeah, you did. Sluts.
Or not Snow White. Wasn't Cinderella and the baker's wife.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Hey. I was Cinderella's first kiss in it too.
Really?
Yeah. The theater director took us into this weird dark hallway and was like, all right, since this is her first kiss, I want you guys to do it right here first. So you guys get comfortable, because I don't want it to feel weird in front of everybody.
Yeah, that's not going to make anybody feel weird.
This is way weirder. This is way weirder.
That's super weird.
Her name was Chelsea. I won't
Shouts
say her
out
last
Chelsea.
name.
What's up?
Chelsea. She's actually an amazing singer and actress, and I'm not gonna say where I think she might be.
We'll gloss over it.
It's not like whatever, but yeah, I was her first kiss, and we were on stage one day together. It was the Sanger Theater in Pensacola, Florida.
So what? So you keep drinking all through high school? That's just something you and the band kids are doing, just hanging out, drinking?
Continue to drink.
And then
Started
you get
smoking weed my junior year, and also started doing like lore tabs.
Yeah.
And still drinking, but like,
Damn, band kids go hard in the paint.
oh hell yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we did. We had fun.
Yeah.
And then
Did you ever get caught with any of that stuff when you were still in high school?
no, never.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've had doing the show for.
I got caught drinking by my parents.
Yeah, but you never got
Yeah.
like pulled over, and I've had 4 or 5
Nope.
guests on here who are like, "Yeah, I was in high school and I got almost basically I got a felony for possession or distributing," and I'm like, "Jesus Christ, man!" Like,
Nah, yeah, nothing like that happened to me.
damn, that's awesome. So you go to the University of West Florida,
Yes,
and it's
That's-
just gloves are off, time to go.
gloves are off.
Did you go for theater or band, or what'd you go for?
So initially, I went for band. I wanted to be an orchestra conductor.
Okay.
That's what I had done throughout my my senior year, and then that program was ridiculous. They wanted you to do a recital on every single instrument, but you'd only get 1 credit per recital. So you're learning all of these different instruments at the exact same time, all
Damn,
for
that-
1 credit. And I was just like, you know what? This is not
sounds
worth
bonkers.
it. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And I think that was just that particular program at that particular school, and there probably would have been a great music program that I would have loved somewhere, but like I was just over it. So then I started going to school for film
Okay.
because I just loved writing screenplays. So I always wrote screenplays when I was in high school too, just because I thought it was fun. And so I started doing that because I had a screenplay writing class that I loved, and then I was doing mostly theater classes and screenplay classes in high school, but I was doing the film track more than the theater track. I didn't do the musicals because they were just so time consuming
Okay.
in college.
So when you're there and you decide like you're going to switch, who are the people? Are you hanging around like other classmates? Are you in the dorms hanging out with like a roommate, like a random roommate, or like who were the people that you gravitated towards?
Ooh-wee. So this was my strategy.
Strategy.
I was like, all right, you smoke cigarettes. Smoke a cigarette outside.
Yeah.
Someone else who smokes cigarettes going to ask you for a cigarette. They got to talk to you then. Maybe you go find the table where people are smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Ask them for a cigarette.
I have a whole
Ooh,
bit about
cigarettes,
why
baby.
smoking is good.
Oh, smoking's so good.
That's how I met Dave
It's-
Chappelle, was smoking cigarettes.
Oh, see?
And Dave Attell.
I'm sorry. You meet the best people ever smoking cigarettes. I always have.
Like I said, I've got like 7 minutes on it about why everyone says it's bad, but actually, it's been incredibly beneficial to me.
Yep. In every way.
Yeah. So
So-
you get to meet. You're at college. You're like, I smoke. I'll go find the other smokers who
Yep.
are obviously hooligans like I am.
100%. And there we were outside of Martin Hall, the dorm that I didn't even live at.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go to this dorm over here.
this isn't my dorm.
It became mine.
Like
I made that
This isn't where I
dorm
parked my
bed.
car.
Oh, my gosh. I loved it. So I met the best group of people, Suzanne, Kayla.
Shouts out.
Oh, yeah, I gotta. Katie Chase. Sorry, Katie. Oh God. We'll take out Chase. Katie.
Stop saying.
Chase.
I gotta go back and
Katie.
listen to this.
Sorry. She won't care that much. She was a chaste angel in college anyway.
Oh,
Until
I'm leaving
we
it in.
turned we turned her, but that's okay. She's good now again. Anyway.
So you meet this group of people.
Oh, the
and,
best.
And
The
what
best.
happens? You guys, you just start partying, or was it like a
Hannah.
gradual thing, or?
Oh my gosh. We immediately started partying. So we
Okay.
started the first day we met, we all were like, who smokes weed? And I was like, we smoke weed.
All of us.
And we
all
were like,
smoke
let's
weed.
go behind this little tiny building and smoke weed on campus.
Oh shit.
Okay, so then we're smoking, and then immediately there's a light flashing, and so there's a cop that sees us.
Oh shit.
And
First time you're smoking weed at college.
Yep, and college hasn't even started yet.
Oh
It
god.
hasn't even been first day classes. So we come out from the bush. We have like left the weed and stuff somewhere. You know, we come out, and they're like, "Is there something wrong, officer?"
Oh, so you're talking? You like came out and?
Oh
like,
yeah, it's us and like 5 other people that we had just met.
So what happened?
So officer was just like, "You can't be back there." And then our friend Kimmy, she was just like, "We heard there were nature trails. Are there snakes back there?" Is that why we can't be back there? And he was
Trying to
like,
play it
there
off?
might be snakes. And he was like, oh, we were trying to find the nature trails. And he was like, they're not there. He's like, where do you guys live?
Kimmy, just
And he
shut
just-
up and
and
go home.
And he just finally said, okay, go. You're good. Just leave.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There's always that one
happened
friend.
to us a lot.
There's always that one friend who's like, I know what I'll do. I'll make this better by talking to the cop.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Tom Segura's got a whole bit about it. You're going to do 25 to life. Like, don't talk
Let's
to them.
just say Kimmy is not part of the group of people that keep in touch.
Okay. Kimmy's out.
She didn't make it through the cracks.
There's always that, yeah, because I know that, because I used to be that guy, because I was pre-law, so whenever something would happen and I was drunk enough, I'd be like, I'll talk to the cops, like, I'll get it figured out. And I would always end up getting arrested, like, almost always.
Well done.
Because then you go to talk to them, and then they get lippy, you know, not lippy, but they have an attitude with you because I'm obviously wasted, and then I start to get a bigger attitude because I'm like, why the fuck are you being rude to me? Like, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
And then it
Oh,
turns
yeah.
into this whole, like, me screaming at the cops, and then they're like, yeah, now you're coming with us. Oh, God.
Never got arrested.
That's
Didn't
good.
happen to me.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, and I don't knock on wood on purpose because I believe in myself.
There you go. Perfect.
That's what I try to tell myself.
Yeah. So the first day of, like, hanging out with people, you almost get in huge trouble. And then what happens from there? Do you guys just keep...
We keep hanging out. Of
Yeah.
course, we formed a bond because we made it out of
Yeah.
that unscathed.
Kick Kimmy to the curb?
We were like, we are invincible. No one can touch us. We're living the dream. We started doing the craziest shit. So we started like, all right, the clubs are always trying to recruit people out in the, you know, dorm commons and stuff. And there's always
like
a different
to promote and stuff like that? Yeah. Okay.
all these different tables set up with different clubs. Well, one day we saw that one table wasn't open. We're fucked up. We're smoking weed. We are just like, let's take that table. And we made a sign, and we just went into the cafeteria and bought a bunch of cookies. And we put a table with a bunch of chocolate chip cookies and a sign that just said, join the revolution, live the dream. And had everyone sign up to come for our email list for our next meeting of the revolution.
What?
And we're all going to learn
There was
how to
no-
live the dream.
There was no revolution.
Okay. Wait, was there not? So, this revolution, we got so many people to sign this email
Just
list.
with free cookies and a sign.
Cookies and a sign. And
Oh,
we
God, that
were
might
like,
be the name of
"All
the
right,
episode."
All right. So me and my friend Kayla, we created the revolution. We sent out an email saying that we were like the president or grand chancellor or something.
Yeah.
We had some weird, silly
Did
names.
you have any idea of what the revolution was about?
Oh, absolutely not. We're just like, it's about living the dream. That's
Okay.
all it's about.
That's all
the
it's about.
revolution is just living the dream. You want to change the world? Just live the dream. It doesn't matter what the dream
What is the
is.
dream?
Live the dream. What do you want to do? Is that the dream? Live that dream. And eventually, everyone's dreams can happen if there's time.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Join the revolution, live the dream. That's what the sign said?
Yes.
Oh my God. And you had like what, like 100 signatures?
I would say we had like 40 signatures.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, and then we had about 20 people show up to the actual meeting, which we just had at our smokers table.
So
that
you
we
just
always,
email blasted.
Yeah, we just like come to the smokers table behind Martin Hall, which honestly there was never a smokers table.
But yeah.
We made it the smokers
Yeah.
table because we all smoke cigarettes.
It's
there.
like when you go to a venue and perform, and then afterwards you just find a table and sit down, and then other comics come and sit with you. It's like, I guess this is the comics table now. Like,
Exactly,
You don't
yeah.
mean to do it. It's just everyone kind of gravitates
Now it
towards it.
is.
So
Now
now you've got the group, which is like what, 5 or 6 people, and then the 20 other people. So now there's almost 30 people at this table. And
Yes.
what are we discussing?
we go around and ask everyone what living the dream means to them.
Oh God! Of course you did. Of course you did.
And we went from there. Just we after we heard everyone's dreams, we discussed how on our next meeting that we would go step by step, find out what our first step is to each of those dreams.
I'm gonna take a guess and say there was no second meeting.
Oh, there was no second meeting.
I didn't think there was.
We sent an email saying there was,
But then
but,
no.
but we weren't there.
Oh, you didn't even show up.
We were like, do we really want to do this? Because if we do it again, we gotta keep.
Yeah, you
doing
got it.
it.
Yeah, now you're invested.
So we were done. We had our fun. We moved
There's
forward.
gotta be.
We
someone.
got drunk in the dorms all the time, and like we had a blacklight panty party where we got really wine drunk, which is so much different than
It's
others.
so weird to hear your voice say that. You like you're like we got good and wine drunk.
It was great. Oh, it's so good. Oh, we would. Gosh, I drank a lot of wine back in the day, but we would get wine drunk and we would paint ourselves with blacklight paint.
Okay.
And we would party and then run through the dorms, and no one would ever do anything to us because they didn't know how to handle us. They didn't feel like calling the cops. We were never disrespectful to anyone. We were
It was just weird.
weird and drunk.
Yeah. So they're just kind of like, fuck it.
Yeah,
It's
allow
like when
it.
you see the crazy guy in the subway, it's like he's just talking to himself. Like,
Exactly.
leave him alone.
Exactly. So a lot of rules were changed because of us the following year to
Really?
help the RAs. Yep, it was a little different. But
A little different.
but that's okay because we all just decided to get apartments then, and then it went even.
So after your first year, you decided to move off campus.
I moved into one of the apartment style dorms that was on campus but off campus.
That's where I
kind of
lived.
thing.
Yeah. The student apartments.
Yes, it was great. And then the very next year, I moved into an apartment right off campus, and I was in apartments for
the rest of
couple
the time.
years. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to touch on this. There's somebody somewhere who went to University of West Florida, and is like talking to his girlfriend now or wife. Maybe they have a kid on the way. And he's like, when I was in college, I joined this group. It was called The Revolution. And the first meeting was inspiring. They told me to follow my dream. What's my dream? And then we never met again. And he's like, that's what inspired me to go to law school, was that meeting. There's got to be someone out there who's thinking that.
I've never even had that cross my mind.
There's someone out there who's like, yeah, we had this one meeting. They told me to follow my dream, and then I went to med school.
It was probably Goose. So Goose was this old man who was in a frat. Like he was
Okay.
he was
Like 30?
No.
Older?
45 probably.
What?
Yeah, he was old. And he was in the frat, and we all just knew him as Goose because that's what they all called him. He's Goose.
So just this 45-year-old guy in a frat.
Partying, thinking he was a frat boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. He
Just
was
like
fun.
20 years too late?
He told one of our friends, "Your ass is tremendous."
Just like that?
And we said that for a whole year over.
Your ass
like,
is
it's
tremendous.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that when you're 18 or 19 to somebody. It's another thing when you're 45, saying
Yeah.
it to a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Also, I always felt that tremendous kind of.
It's a funny word.
It's
just as a
almost like
word.
overwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
if your ass is tremendous, it would be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't handle a tremendous ass.
That's just too much ass.
Maybe he was warning her that people are gonna bump into things. People are gonna.
Yeah, you gotta do something about that tremendous ass of
Yeah.
yours. What led to you quitting drinking the first time? So we're talking about the party days and stuff.
Oh,
when
man.
did you decide, like, hey, I've kind of had enough of the drinking? Was this still in college or was this after?
This is after college.
Okay.
I was working as a.
How long after, if you don't mind my asking? I just like to get a gauge as far as the timeline.
Let me see. It would have been probably 2 years.
Okay, so not long after.
Yeah.
Because I've had people on the show before where they've done tremendous things. Like, they don't drink anymore, but then we'd be talking, and they're like, yeah, and then, I packed up all my stuff, and I moved to New York to pursue my dream. And I was like, wait, from the timeline you're telling me, you were still drinking it. They're like, yeah, I was wasted all the time, but I still did it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I could never imagine trying to pull off something that huge when I was drinking. Like,
Nope.
that'd be insane.
No, I'm always thinking the same thing. Like, my money. Like, how would I'm broke now. How did I drink before? I'm so confused by it.
Yeah, it's weird.
How did I figure that out?
That's always something I think about too. It's like I used to, like, I'm having financial issues now. Like, how was I wasted at work every day? Like, still making enough money to pay rent? Like,
Does
that's
that
insane.
mean like I was better with money when I was drunk?
Well, the thing that I discovered was I only needed like $30. I needed $26 and like 87 cents, and that would buy me a handle of vodka and a pack of cigarettes. So as long as I could make that like every couple of days, work in the restaurants, I was fine. But 2 years after college, you're still
Yeah.
partying, doing
Yep.
crazy stuff.
I'm working at a movie theater. I'm the manager, assistant manager of a movie theater.
This is back in Pensacola still?
Yeah, in Gulf Breeze,
Gulf
UFO capital of the
Breeze.
world. UFO capital of the world, baby. So featured on
So
Ancient
stupid.
Aliens and WWE Divas. Okay.
That's a professional plug right there, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
there you go. Hire me.
Please, for the love
Dear
of God.
Dear God. So, yeah, one night I went to the Addams Family musical
Okay.
at the Sanger Theater with my friend who worked at the movie theater with me. And we were drinking a little bit beforehand, but then during intermission, we went over to the whiskey bar that was across the street. And it's all this craft whiskey
Yeah.
that's super high alcohol content.
Good stuff. The good
Super
stuff.
good stuff. And we like downed. So we're just like, we only got this much time. Just go for
Damn.
it. Go for it. Go for it. And we go back. We finish the musical. And then we go out. We're pretty drunk. And we're like, we're downtown. Let's keep drinking. We had a fun night.
Yeah.
I'm getting wasted. Then all of a sudden, my friend who I'm with is like, hey, I actually need to go home because I work in the morning. I'm just like, all right, don't worry about it. I'll get an Uber or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you sure? And it's like, yeah. And if not, I think our friend Anthony's coming. I could maybe ride with him.
And you're just hammered, just like, yeah,
hammered. It's like, I got it. As
I've been there a lot of times.
And so then there's this thing that happens when I'm drunk where it's like, I'm not hostile. But there's something that happens that was eventually known as sweet tea.
Okay.
Where I would dish out sweet tea. Basically, it's a little bitterness that is covered up with sugar.
So just a bunch of backhanded compliments.
Backhanded shit, but like in the nicest of voices. Like when you're listening to it, you're like, oh, this person's being nice to me. And then as soon as the sentence is over, you're like
not so much.
This piece of shit. And this all came about because sweet tea, we were at Waffle House as
you do in Florida.
Yeah, and we were wasted, and there was someone.
How much longer is this after the musical?
This was before the musical, actually.
Okay.
Sweet teaing.
So because you said you were kind of drunk before you got there, so.
Oh yeah.
So you're at Waffle House before, just sweet teaing everybody.
Oh no! Well, I was sweet teaing people after the musical, but sweet teaing is something that occurs generally. I'll
just
discuss
all the time.
it at some point. Yeah, sweet teaing happened because I was at a Waffle House and someone was complaining about a woman who kept having to have her sweet tea refilled at the Grand Marlin, a really high-end restaurant. And as we were leaving, I was like, hey, I was hearing about that story about the sweet tea, baby. I'm like, girl, it gets better. It gets so better. I know it's hard right now. It gets better.
You piece of shit.
Having to pour that sweet tea for all those rich people getting big tips. It gets better. And she noticed what she just started yelling, what the fuck, you motherfucker, blah, blah. And I just walked out after I'd paid. I was paying my stuff and then walking out and just like, I made my point without cursing. Have a good night. And then I walked out because was my sweet tea. But I was at this place called Hop Jacks after the musical, and I like to make a point of if you're not super nice, then you're mean.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I can't sit here? Like, why can't I sit here? Like, there were like 4 people at this table, and they had an empty seat, but it was like their friends. So I was like,
yeah,
can I sit here? And it was like, no. Like, why can't I sit here? No one's sitting here. Do you have another friend sitting? He was like, no, we don't, but we're sitting at this table. Like, so I can't have. So
you just wanted to barge into this table?
I wanted to sit down. I wanted to sit down, smoke a cigarette. There was a fucking ashtray. I want to sit, smoke a cigarette.
And they said no.
So I'd be like, so wait. I was like, so you're in charge of the chairs,
the seating arrangements.
Sir. So the chair. I'm really sorry. I did not realize that it was reserved seating as well.
You are a dick sometimes.
I was just going ridiculous. And people were getting mad at me. Then I guess when my other friend finally showed up, I was like,
is this Anthony?
Yeah. I got mad at someone for eating our French fries.
Okay.
And I was just like, what? That was like, why would you just eat someone's French fries you don't know? I was like, well, and then their boyfriend came over and was just like, what are you talking about my girl? What are you talking about my girl? I was like, she's just eating our food. And it's like, I'm gonna punch you, whatever they say. I'm gonna punch you. And
whatever
I'm just
those
like,
ridiculous straight men say.
I'm just like, no, you're not. In the middle of this bar,
with all these people,
you're gonna hit me. Like, what am I doing, really? I'm saying don't eat French fries. Like, tell your girlfriend not to eat my French fries.
Yeah.
Like, and
what
that's
happened?
when my friend showed up, and he was like, we're getting you out of here. So he starts getting me shuffled out of the bar. I say, oh, wait 1 second. And he stops. And I just run back to the bar, and I'm like, I'm getting another drink. And I get another drink, and I'm just like trying to like navigate through without him seeing me. I'm being a total dick.
So your friend is trying to help, trying to get you out of there, and you're just like, God.
Now I'm just having fun.
Yeah. And I know this exact. I had this
invincible world of douchebaggery.
That's exactly how I got my second DUI.
Oh, well.
They told me not to go somewhere, and I tried to run in, and I was like trying to hide.
There we go.
Same thing.
And so he finally got me into the car, and I was like going. All of a sudden, I'm talking about like wanting to kill myself. Like, out of nowhere. Like literally, it was like something was said. I don't know at all. I don't remember anything, but apparently, I was going from hysterical laughter to hysterical crying about how I want to die, and then I'd start laughing and be like, but nothing matters really because it's all.
Was this something that you had, like, that you had dealt with before? Or?
When I was younger, I always had problems with my emotions. Like, I felt things very extremely. Like,
I'm the same
to
way.
an extreme. And,
obviously.
Yep, there we go. And so I had always wanted to see a doctor or a therapist or something, but my parents didn't really want me to at the time. But then
I get it.
It got worse and worse as years went by because, like, in college, my first love, the first guy that I was ever with from high school who were still together in college, died from drug interaction. He was drinking and on methadone and on his antidepressants as well. They prescribed, and he died. And then after that, I met someone else, and we drank like crazy all the time. Had like a really strange, tumultuous relationship. He would like punch a fucking hole in the wall, but I loved him. And
but I loved him.
And he asked me to marry him, and I said yes. And then he broke up with me because I was too good for him. And it turned out he had gotten a 40-year-old woman pregnant.
What?
Yep. It was
plot twist.
This whole thing. So like from then on,
Jesus
I was
Christ,
like
that's came out of nowhere.
Hardcore drank.
Okay, so there was a lot more to it than just partying with your friends.
Yeah,
like you had
it got it. But much like this telling him the story, I always made that a side note whenever I talked about it. Like I never tried to blame my drinking on those things happening, but drinking was heavily involved in those situations as well.
Yeah.
So like, I don't bring them up as much as being a part of my. I think of it as part of my tragic love life, but less about my drug and alcohol life, even though it's very intertwined as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
did you ever get, when you were a kid? This is a side note, but it's something that popped into my head. Because you were talking about how like your parents were really down with therapy or anything like that. This happened to me a lot where people would just say, when dealing with my anxiety and depression and stuff, people were just like, oh, you just want attention. Like you're just being like basically a big baby.
I was never told that I just wanted attention. They just said they always felt like I'm an emotional person.
Yeah. I got a lot of the same stuff.
Like at times, like my mom would say that I had the gift of tears, which is a Catholic thing that the Virgin Mary, the statue crying and stuff. If you cry, if you have very strong reactions to things, then you're touched by the Virgin Mary, and you have the gift of tears, and you take the weight of tragedy upon yourself.
Look at us.
Look,
we're
Virgin
saints.
Mary. I know,
we're
exactly.
Saints.
So that's what I was, thought of my life, you know, and then.
So then we fast forward back to the party
to that night.
Or that night, yeah. So you're in the car finally.
I'm apparently going from hysterical laughter to hysterical crying about wanting to die or how I am gonna die. So it's so funny, like none of this even matters. I'm laughing with this is what is being told to me.
Yeah, this is
2 days later, 5 days later actually. And he gets me to my house, and he tries to walk me in to get me to my bed to go to sleep. And I push him off my front porch.
Oh, shit.
And I'm just like...
And now, are you living...
I'm living with my parents.
Okay, that's... Okay.
And
so you're getting back to your parents' house.
Yeah.
He's trying to walk you in, and you just throw him off the front
Yeah.
porch.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then I get inside, and my friend Jenny starts messaging me because I guess Anthony must have told her about it. And I'm telling her I'm saying her fucked up messages about like how I have a knife and all that blah blah blah, and how I'm gonna stab myself or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
she
you know
says,
what happens when people say things like that.
I know it. And you just wait. Here
I'm
we go.
very
Here
aware.
We go.
I'm very aware.
If you're unaware, those out there,
You are uninitiated.
Florida has a little thing called the Baker Act.
5150.
Oh, it's fun. When two people in Florida says you're crazy, you are.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
You did
Tell him what he's won, Johnny. 72 hours of lockdown.
Ooh, or longer.
Yeah, depending on the clearance of the doctor.
So she asked me if she can come over and talk to me, and I'm just like, sure, why not? Go for it. And the doorbell rings, and I get angry. I'm yelling. I'm like, why the fuck would you ring the doorbell? Open the door. There's the cops zip tying me up.
Not even a second thought. Just zip, zip.
Yep. My parents come to the door.
Oh, yeah, because they're unaware of everything
Yep,
that's happening.
They've woken up because my dog started barking. And they're like, what is going on? I get taken away at like 4 a.m. to Lakeview Mental Institution.
Okay.
And
My first
they
rehab was
they
Lakeview.
breathalyzed me first.
Yeah.
And I do not remember anything up until the cops showing up, really.
Okay, so all this other stuff was described to you later.
This was all described to me later. I had no clue I had pushed someone or anything. And then they breathalyzed me, and I blew under the legal limit.
Oh,
As
really?
if I wasn't drunk. I was like, that's ridiculous. I started laughing at it. I was like, I am wasted. And so I was in observation for a while to figure stuff out, and they eventually got to the conclusion that I had borderline personality disorder, where it's similar to bipolar, except it's not categorized by long periods of mania and depression. It's like
Short bursts.
for short bursts that can be triggered by events and emotional and stressful situations.
Mm-hmm.
So when I drink, it basically puts me in a mania. My blood pressure gets so high that alcohol pumps through my system so fast that if I get breathalyzed, it comes up as
So it's like when you're going into anaphylactic shock and you have an EpiPen. All the EpiPen does is like super speed up your metabolism to burn through everything that could hurt you. So your body does the same thing almost with alcohol.
Yeah.
Where it gets so manic that it just starts to burn through the alcohol.
Exactly. I could drink and drink and drink and drink and drink. I would drink 8 drinks an hour.
Yeah, and your
for
body
an
would just
entire
like
night.
fly through it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a superpower.
I know. And I was a fun drunk until I got sassy. I mean, that's it. But
it's always fun until it isn't.
Yeah, always. But yeah, so I was there for 4 days. I was there during Mother's Day, which was a bummer. Which is so strange because the day I got Baker acted, that morning I had brought home the Mother's Day present that I got. I got her a brand new microwave because we had this old microwave forever. And I was bringing it to my room, and I didn't realize she was home, and she saw the microwave, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll give you your Mother's Day present early. And then that night,
all this happens.
I'm in the
Psych
hospital.
ward,
Yeah. And guess what the fucking movie that gets turned on in the morning? Like, because there's just VHS tapes and shit. You wake up in the morning, they give you whatever pills they've decided you're going to get. You eat, you go into the common room before they have some sort
movie's playing?
Some sort of AA meeting or something. The movie, The Addams Family, which was the musical I watched.
Full circle. God, son of a bitch.
I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like you were being heckled by the universe.
I was, and I know I was, because then one person decided they were going to be in control of the VHS player, and they decided
Just
they
like
wanted
the guy
to
with
watch.
the chairs.
Oh, yeah. Just like the chair guy. It might have been him, and we could. Oh, well, he decided that we were only going to watch every Sandler movie on repeat. Every Adam Sandler movie. Back to back.
Fuck that.
To back.
I love Adam
to back.
Sandler, but
I love Adam Sandler.
that's too much.
But Jesus Christ, if I have to, I don't know if I could watch it again. I loved Billy Madison so much, but I don't know if I could watch it now.
Because you watched it on repeat?
Because you've watched Sandler on repeat. Like if you watch all those movies back to back to back to back, you start to like pick apart why they're all the same and all shitty.
Yeah.
But you ruin the whole moment of it being just like a silly, ridiculous, fun movie. And
To a
you're
lesser-
also being given pills that you've never been on before. Your body and mind are getting used to these chemicals being put into your body while you have to watch every Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had that to a lesser
Rough.
extent because I love Star Wars, but if I try to watch like all 9 of them, by the third one, I'm like, I can't. Like,
that's why they did them in threes.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that series. The same thing like you're talking to Adam Sandler. It's like you love it, but then once you see like a third one in a row, you're like, all right, enough.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened. And
So that was the first time you got off drinking?
Yep, I started going to AA. I started. It was about 9 months that I wasn't drinking.
Okay.
I started comedy. Started doing stand-up comedy about 7 months into not drinking.
So was that the 10-year gap? Then you started again?
Yeah.
That was in there?
Yep.
Because you said you started when you first got to
So
college. Okay.
7 months sober was when I started drinking, or started doing stand-up again.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, I started drinking again.
Okay.
What?
What? If you don't mind me asking, kind of what? Because I've had
I
plenty
just thought
of
it was
relapses.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. That
I
was
was like, oh, well, I know this about myself now that I can't
Yep.
do this like
my
I
first
did
major
before.
relapse was the exact same thing.
It's like, but I can manage it now.
Yep.
And I was wrong.
I
and
sat
then-
out on a balcony with my roommate from the halfway house, and we convinced each other that we had overreacted by going to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
That makes
We were just
that
like,
makes complete
I'm
logical
25.
sense for an
Like, I'm
alcoholic.
fine. I've learned so much.
Yep. Oh, but yeah, then I relapsed, and I was drinking fine for a while, right?
Yeah,
Right.
always,
I was
always,
drinking just fine. And then I decided to stop again, which I cannot remember why I stopped the second time, actually.
Okay.
I'm still trying to remember. Oh, yeah.
Quick edit point here. Took out this little section only because Andrew wanted to expand on it on a later podcast. So I didn't want to have it just sitting out there with no explanation. So we talked about it and we decided that we were going to take it out. So tune in for Andrew's next episode to hear this full story.
And then I started drinking again when I thought I was fine. And also because a comedy place that I started running a show at was giving me free alcohol for hosting. And they had my favorite beer, which is Bell's Two Hearted, which is like 9% alcohol. And I was getting that for free. And I was like, I'm getting drunk. And then I crashed my car after one of those comedy nights into a post that was in my neighborhood. I was like a block away from my house.
Always.
Crashed into this little post that didn't have a reflector on it, which for years I was like, it should have had a reflector on it, right? See, I never hit any of those posts that had reflectors, but if it had a reflector, my drunk ass would have seen it. God damn it. To the defense of that, though, I'm going to defend that defense because I have seen many other people have knocked it over as well. But
it should have a reflector on it.
That is when I stopped again. My car wasn't messed up. It had a crack in the bumper or whatever.
But now that was this last time?
That was this last time, 2.5 years ago that happened.
Okay.
And now I am 2.5 years sober still.
That's crazy.
Yep.
All from a little post in the middle of the road.
Yep.
But you You did send me a list of a couple stories. There was 2 I really wanted to ask you about. So whatever order you want to take them in. The Lord of the Rings thing.
Oh man. Okay. So
But I want to ask you about the karaoke thing too. So which one do you want to end on? Because those are the last 2 we'll do.
okay, we'll start with Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
We'll start with Lord of the Rings. So my friend's dad passed away,
Yeah.
and I was I was watching the house because my whole entire family was out of town. This was while I was working at the movie theater.
Okay.
It was around Christmas time. I was drinking a bunch of gin. I was all on this gin and cranberry juice kick for a while because it
That's
tasted like Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay, there you go.
It was just pine and cranberry.
Yeah.
So I was drinking that like crazy, and my friend called me and told me that her dad passed away, and her dad was a big guy, and my dad's a big guy, and he died of a heart attack, and so I immediately just like, if her dad can die, my dad can die. Apparently, I have some sort of invincibility problem.
Yeah.
I really think
everyone's gonna be okay.
yeah, that's my problem. Why won't I learn? And so I got wasted and walked to my work, the movie theater.
Yeah.
To watch a movie because
You
I
got
get
gin
free
and cranberry
movies.
wasted.
Gin and cranberry wasted, baby. And went inside, got a ticket to Lord of the Rings. I think it was the second one.
Okay.
And
The 2 towers.
my boss there just like, she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "My friend's dad is dead." And I was
Just
like going into,
Hammered.
I was just hammered. And I'm so sorry, Suzanne, for even. But this is what happened when I found out your dad died. And so I go see Lord of the Rings wasted drunk by myself, and midway through I leave to smoke a cigarette and prop the door open so I can get back in, and I accidentally didn't prop the door.
The door
open.
just shut?
And it just shut. I was just drunk and like, I don't feel like going around and having them see me drunk again. I'm walking home, so I walked
So you just walked home?
I only watched like maybe 45 minutes to an hour of the second Lord of the Rings, and I was like, I got my fill. Let me cry and walk back home. And just drink more gin and cranberry juice.
Jesus.
Yep. So that occurs. When people die, I cry. That's just a thing. I worked for a funeral home.
Jesus.
And it was partially to get over that, like to help people and like to do like to be there for people when things are tough, so that you can be there for yourself when it's tough too. Like,
absolutely.
But
What's the King karaoke?
I was the king karaoke on Pensacola Beach, baby. I would get so drunk. I lived on Pensacola Beach, and I would go to Patty O'Leary's.
Okay.
And when
Shouts out Patty O'Leary's.
Patty O'Leary's. We're actually about to start a comedy show there in Pensacola on October 7th. Ian Abear from Atlanta will be headlining. It's
Okay, there you go.
It's
October
free
7th.
entry, too, because Patty O'Leary's
cover.
is awesome. They're paying the comedians so that you don't have to pay. How nice is that?
That's super awesome.
How nice is that? Thank you, Seamus Hunt, owner of Patty O'Leary's.
In Pensacola Beach, Florida.
Pensacola Beach, Florida. 325 something.
Whatever it is.
Anyway, so yeah, I would go there and I would sing karaoke.
So same bar you would go to.
Oh my God, I would sing my karaoke heart out. And when I would go up, they would turn the PA on outside so that people could hear.
What's your go-to song?
I had several.
Okay.
All right. So we got Benny and the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. We have Rolling in the Deep by Adele. That's a big hit because no one expects that to be coming.
That's a big hit. The way you said that with so much confidence. Like, let me tell you how to get the fucking crowd going. So when you're doing karaoke, Adele, nobody sees it coming.
It was true, though. That was good. And then Aaliyah. Gotta do some, oh, you got somebody. Tell me you got somebody. Boy, I've been watching you like a hawk in the sky.
Wow, you really do
love
know
it. It's fun. And then I would do, Under Pressure.
Yeah, that's a
both
good
parts. I would do both the Bowie and the, and yeah, 'cause
Of course you would.
Yeah, and
one.
then
This stage is only big enough for one
Somebody
of
to
us.
Love by
Mhm.
Queen. That was always one of the big. That was towards the end of the night when people are like really drunk and like
had a
you
set
want to
list and
make them.
everything.
You gotta make them emotional, make them feel it. So yeah, I just was the karaoke king.
Beautiful.
Like everybody loved me when I would go up. People would come and hug me and be like, "You're amazing." The karaoke lady would always like put me in rotation before people, or when things were getting low, she'd be like, "Just bring me up," and be like,
Yeah.
"What song you want?" It was great. That bar made a drink after me called Andrew's Balls, and they were blue. And it was a shot. It was like melon liqueur and blue curacao, and Sprite and probably some vodka or something. And they'd always be like, "Who wants Andrew's balls in their mouth?" And it was my buddy Forrest was the bartender, and he passed away this past year. So rest in peace, Forrest. He created Andrew's Balls, and no one knows the recipe, so it dies with him, and we
There you
love
go.
him very much.
That's a way to end it, man.
Yeah.
Plug everything one more time.
Andrew's Balls.
Andrew's
baby.
Balls.
But now, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful story, man.
And I love karaoke to this day. And I started.
We gotta find some karaoke spots to do in New York.
Oh, I love it so much. I did singing competitions too. They did a Gulf Coast Idol where you would go and
I'm pretty sure I know the concept.
they'd play the karaoke track, but you would sing it without being able to see the
Just
track.
a cappella, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, not acapella.
Instrumental. They would play the
they
instrumental.
play the
That's what I meant
you
to
would
say.
sing.
That's what I meant to
Oh
say.
man, it was fun. I made it to the finals one year. I came in third place. I got $200, but there was a revolt because everyone thought I should have won.
God, okay. Now
People
you're
were
just-
getting angry.
Now
People
you're
were,
just hyping your karaoke
no,
up
people
too
were
much.
yelling and everyone was wasted drunk.
Jesus.
Like at this Gulf Coast Idol event because it lasted like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And everyone's just wasted. People are just like flicking off the judges. It's like, fuck you, this guy, this motherfucker. Well, it was wild. And I was just like, guys, calm down. Let's not make it about me.
If you guys knew Andrew as well as I do, you know why that's hilarious. Well, I really do appreciate you coming on, Karaoke King of Pensacola.
Oh, why, thank you.
Thank you so much. When you move up here and get settled, we'll have you back. Plug everything one more time. All your social media at
All right.
Funny AF Comedian.
So, yes, Instagram at funnyafcomedian. My website is www.funnyafcomedy.com. You can see my videos. You can find my other social media. You can see my upcoming shows, get tickets, all sorts of fun stuff.
Beautiful.
Come see me. I'll be back in New York November, and I believe my first show in New York is at Broadway Comedy Club November 9th. But there
Perfect.
probably will be something before it, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah, I'm super excited to be back.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, man.
Yeah, man, this was so much fun.
I'm glad
This
you
was
came
so
out.
much
We
fun.
finally got it on the books. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Follow me on all social media at Brennan T Comedy. Check out the website, BrennanTComedy.com. Dates at Broadway Comedy Club on the 6th and the 17th. The 7th and the 16th. I got to stop fucking doing that.
Ooh-wee.
Subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/BrennanTassif, and we will talk to you all next week.